So, I just.
Well, that was a good part.
I'd like to call tonight's meeting of the Lower Macungie Township Board of Commissioners to order. If we could all please stand for a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. Happy New Year. For the roll call, Commissioner Robert is not in attendance this evening. Our Township Manager, Bruce Beidel, is joining us through Zoom. There are no agenda modifications. Item number 5, announcements and presentations. Mr. Phillips Armstrong, County Executive, with a nice New Year's update.
Well, you know what? It's one of those great years where there's not a lot of update, but just everything is good. But, 8 years ago, I said that one of the commitments I'd make as county executive is to get out to every meeting every year. This is the last time you'll see me, my last year. So I wanted to not be a lame duck and sit at home in my recliner, but get out. We've got a lot of really good things we're working on. A new environmental advisory board that we're going to put together. We're balanced budget, no tax raise, I think is always important. We just, as you saw, got a nice grant for Lockridge, and that was, we put in for every grant. My philosophy has always been, it never hurts to ask. I think on the 24th of this month, I have a meeting scheduled with the fire chiefs. I've got something up my sleeve for them too, but I'm not going to put that out till I meet with all the fire chiefs. But I'm hoping I got something that'll save them money down the road. We're going to work on that. But no, everything is calm and cool. But I usually come to see if you have any questions more than me standing here and talking. And my op-ed, I wanted to say thank you to everybody, and especially people like yourselves in local government, because I think the cooperation we've had back and forth for the last 7 years, and I hope for the next year for sure, will continue. It's really been a great pleasure working with you. So I wanted to say thank you to you people for your service too.
All right.
Any questions?
Commissioners, any questions for the county executive?
New Year.
Any questions from the county commissioner for the county executive? You're good? Okay.
Yeah, he's been great to work with. I have to say
Don't
that,
lie. Don't lie.
No, I'm not. I would say that either whether he was here or not. We have voted together on almost everything. It's so great minds think alike, as I would tell him.
Well, Bill, thank you for your service to the county, to Lower Macungie. Keeping your commitment to come here and talk to us, which is always great. It is, it's a good time for the county. It's a good time for Lower Macungie. And when we can all get along and work together, good things happen.
It really is. And I understand tonight you have somebody to appoint to the Planning Commission. And I'm, as a person who now represents 4 states in regional planning, I can't tell you how important the Planning Commission is. When you go to these meetings in Washington and realize the money for infrastructure comes through your Planning Commission. So it's important that we have a say, on what's going on in the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission. So way to go for that one. Really is. We have had some very close votes. So,
I'm sure.
Yes, it's important that we come and we make sure we cast our vote. Okay.
Excellent.
Well, Happy New Year then.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Head back over the mountain and get back.
Okay. Item number 6, hearings and approvals. Consideration of contract with Sanctuary at Halfsville for assistance for stray cats. Mr. Beidel. Or is it?
Thank you. This is an extension of our agreement that we previously had. Mr. Tranguch has worked to ensure, as we talked about at the last workshop, the ability for Haskell to manage the cat issue and concern. There is no pickup, of course. It's only drop off. unless he has anything further, we're pleased to be able to partner with the sanctuary.
Vince, anything to add?
No, nothing further. Thank you.
Okay.
Motion to approve contract with Sanctuary Hospital.
Okay. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, item 7, public comment on non-agenda topics. Is there any public comment on non-agenda topics? Okay, communication? Mr. Beidle or Mrs. Flexer?
Thank you. We have 2 items. Notification from the Lehigh County Authority, the notice of the 2025 water rates, and then Erica Drebit, statement of interest for the library board.
Okay. Item 9, appointments to various boards, committees, and commissions. 9.1, appoint 1 to the Building Code Board of Appeals with a term to expire 1/1/28.
Make a motion to appoint Jeffrey Mocklick to the position expiring on 1/1/28.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 9.2, appoint 2 to the Environmental Advisory Council with terms to expire 1/1/28.
Make a motion to approve Miles Zakos for the position to expire 1/1/28. Doing both?
Separately. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Mr. Ward.
Motion to approve Philip DePoe, again, for a position to expire on 1/1/28.
Okay. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. 9.3, appointment of EAC chair.
The Environmental Advisory Council is recommending that Rebecca Ionez be appointed as chair of the EAC for 2025.
A motion to approve Rebecca Ian.
Okay. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 9.4, appoint 2 to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee with terms to expire 12/31/27.
Motion to approve Gregory Brown for the first position.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to approve Camelia Baker as the second position expiring on 12/31/27.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 9.5, appoint 1 to the Planning Commission with term to expire 1/1/2029.
Motion to approve Jess Rosenbrook.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions?
Was there any recommendations for this? And is there
Yes.
more than one?
No, I believe this is the Wes
Yeah,
provided his recommendation.
She's already serving on the board.
yeah, okay. Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 9.6, appoint 1 to the Public Safety Advisory Committee with a term to expire 12/31/2027.
I realize that we didn't have a recommendation, but I don't think there's any anything to not reappoint Mr. Reinbold.
Correct. Yeah, he's already a sitting member and he's seeking reappointment.
Motion to approve Judge Reinbold for the position to expiring 12/31/27.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 9.7, appoint one to the vacancy board with a term to expire the first Monday in January 2026.
Motion to approve Julie McDonald, excuse me, to the position expiring on January 2026.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 9.8 will be tabled until the second meeting in January. Item 10, approval of minutes of previous meeting, December 19th, 2024.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Item 11, bill list. Yeah, Mrs. Flexer.
From the general fund, $216,552.91. Solid waste, $389,027.60. From the sewer fund, $7,515.51. Capital projects, $108,816.20. Open space maintenance fund, $11,466, and payroll, $204,937.11. And developers escrow, $51,468.42, for a total of $989,783.75.
Motion to approve.
Okay, there's a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And as always, for the general public, our bill list can be found on our website for your review. Item 12, departmental matters. Engineering, Mr. McAdam.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. President. Only have one item tonight, which is an escrow release for Schaefer Run Commons, formerly known as Hamilton Walk. Escrow release 7, we are recommending a release of $176,502.59. Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, anything else, Mr. McAdam?
Not tonight, thank you.
I got one question.
Yes, question for the
Yeah,
engineer.
Brian, we could go over it now. You had looked into something for me. I think it was the warranty on the IPP lining.
Yes.
That way
Basi-
the board gets a heads up also.
No, that's fine. So we haven't gotten shop drawings yet for the 2025 sewer lining project. It was literally just awarded, but what I got from JJ in our office, he handles basically all the publicly bid projects for us and has done it for years. What he's explained to us in an email is that the contracts that we prepare require a 1-year maintenance bond period for the contract itself for everything that's done. After that, and that covers from the time, not just from when it's awarded, he puts in here from the date township signs the final pay estimate. So when the project's done, that's when the maintenance period is, commences. And he said
Bless you.
typically the lining products themselves carry a 50-year life expectancy. And apparently most of the guys that we've dealt with as a company, we haven't had issues where that, collapsed liners or anything like that have come up once the maintenance periods are done. So in answer to your question, the contract that we put together has a 1-year maintenance period for which everything's covered. And then after that, typically the products are good for 50 years, but the contract doesn't extend beyond that 1-year maintenance period.
Right, so, 1 year from completion and, it's normally supposed to be around 50 years, but,
Yes.
there are exceptions there.
Well, yes, certainly, and something can happen with any, like you drive a car, you have no problem with having 10 Fords in a row and the 11th one, something breaks. It just, sometimes things can happen, but what I'm being told is that there's no official warranty, but the product, the lining product itself typically is expected to have a 50-year lifespan.
All right, thank you.
Yep. And just, I'm sorry, just to try, I want to try to put your mind at ease. When the project is done, we get videos from the contractor for these sewer lining projects. And they are reviewed to make sure that everything was installed properly. If there was something that we noticed that doesn't look right, we get it fixed then and there. So when we sign off, and like as JJ puts in the email, that the maintenance period starts when we recommend the final pay estimate. And that is only after we've reviewed all the videos. So there is it's not, these projects typically go kind of quick as compared to like a bridge construction or something like that. But there is a good bit of time between the start of the lining to the very, very end before we recommend to the township that they're paid. And then the 1-year maintenance period starts.
All right, thank you again.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. McAdam. Any other questions for the engineer? Okay, 12.2 planning, Mr. Tranguch.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we received 4 items for Planning Commission prior to the last submission deadline. 2 were sketch plans, and 2 were preliminary final land development plans. So we're working through our reviews right now, and we're going to cement the agenda next week for the January, but it looks like we should have full agenda for next week. And the only other thing I'd like to report on planning is we received on December 27th a zoning change proposed within the Borough of Albertus. We're going to be taking that as well to the Planning Commission for review. They're proposing to change 3 parcels within the borough along the township border to Church Street and Scenic View Drive near Hills of Lockridge development. They're proposing to change those lots to from light industrial office to their R3 medium density residential. So there's some floodplain areas there we're concerned about, also access. So we'll be making comment within the 30-day period we have to make comment and send it back to the borough.
Okay.
That's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Tranguch? Okay, Township Solicitor, Solicitor Broman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would suggest an executive session after the meeting to talk about litigation and property acquisition. Other than that, I don't have any report tonight.
Okay,
Thank you.
any questions for the solicitor? 12.4 Township Manager, Mr. Beidle.
Thank you. I just have one item for the gentleman to consider this evening. You will see, we're going to request the board consider the appointment of Chris Russo to the position of zoning officer. Chris, for the public background, and I know we've talked about this at several workshops with the board. Chris came on board with us in October. He's brought his, wealth of knowledge and experience from various certifications to his 12 years of experience in zoning and everything else that he mastered in his previous employer. And he's excelled through our process of onboarding. And the quality of his work, and more importantly, the quality of person that Chris is, we think he'll be a benefit to the township and the township residents in this position. So you have before you Mr. Tranguch's recommendation letter, his memo, as well as my request, and that we consider him for this position. So I'd like to thank Vince as well for serving in the zoning officer position in our time when we were between individuals. And like I said, I can't say enough for Chris and what he's brought to the team. And he excels every day. And, we're very fortunate that he's here. So.
Yeah, make a motion to approve Chris Russo as zoning hearing officer.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second,
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Are there any commissioner comments or questions?
just moving east a little. Is it a big difference or similar or more challenging? More ground, more area.
Chris, just come up to the microphone because they record it and we want to make sure that we get all your comments.
Pleasure meeting everyone. I do want to say, just being here, 3 months now, you guys have a great staff, from management all the way down, and they've been very welcoming, and it's great to be a part of a team. I'm looking forward to serving the board and the residents.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Question I have, Bruce, is if we say no, does he have to give the shirt back? Because, I mean, it's pretty cold outside. I don't want him to be cold.
We would find a alternate uniform for him to wear home, but
Okay,
yes.
good. And the only thing, Chris, I'll say is welcome to the family. It's always great when we can get some really highly skilled people who do great work. The only thing I'll tell you is you'll never have to serve the board. You just serve the people of the township. And that's the only thing that we ask. Okay? All right. So we have a motion and a second. Are there any public comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Chris, welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Beidle, anything further?
I have nothing further unless there's any questions for me.
Any questions for the manager? Okay. Item 13, other business. Is there any old business to discuss tonight? Is there any new business? Item 14, Board of Commissioners reports. The next board regular meeting is January 16th, 2025 at 6 p.m. The next board workshop is January 27th, 2025 at 6 p.m. There will be an executive session following this meeting to discuss litigation and potential real property. And with that, we are adjourned. Is he going to stay for the executive or not?